Howdy y'all, this is Dwight and welcome back to my channel. I'm here at my greenhouse and I thought I'd showcase a couple things and do a little walk around. First off, I want to show all these holes in the ground here. It escapes me what those critters are called that come out of there, but they are bad this year. Here's one. And there's another. There has been a bunch of them that has came out inside the greenhouse. Of course, they're all over the yard as well, popping out of the ground. And of course, there's dead shells that they've crawled out of, I guess. And I do not remember what those are called. But this year, they are bad. Anyways, enough of that. Here's some roses that are my mother's, and I've been having them in the greenhouse for her because they've been something she's ordered, and they come real scraggly like this one. This is the latest one that's come in, and they've leafed out, and two of them have bloomed out just beautifully. Here's one that's just leafed out good, and this one's just starting to leaf out. But those are just fantastic. Take a quick look at my Japanese maple seedlings. I have 3 that has lasted, as well as my little red bud. It's actually just recently came up with its secondary leaf. Little Japanese maples are on their 3rd set of leaves. Secondaries right there. You can't hardly see the first ones. There it is. This here is my Chinese wisteria that I got a section dug up, and it is sprouting out nicely. And my little red oak on this rock is doing well so far. It's budding out nicely. So I am quite happy so far with its progress as far as it seems to be doing well and staying healthy. Yeah, there's several more of those critters there on the backside. Now right outside is this Japanese maple, the blood good, that I had purchased, and it looks like it might not live for me. There's just one branch, small branch down here that's still nice and red. I don't know if it will bud out. I'm waiting to see if it will, but everything else has just turned brown on the tops. So time will tell. More than likely, unfortunately, I might be returning that. But I do have something down here with my other stuff I will show. Got some mater plants out. These 3 right there were late bloomers from seed. That one there in the back that's doing really well was one of the first ones to come up. And these 2 I bought because they're just like a small cherry tomato, you know, small, great for salad or something like that. And this is where I've got my bonsai bench set up. Of course, right now, obviously it's just a board on top of some buckets. Here in time, I will attempt to make this a little nicer looking setup. This here is a green bell pepper plant I've kept alive for 3 years now. This one here is the same thing, except this is its 2nd season. This is my very first harvested maple that I've been able to keep alive, and it's coming back out. I really like, sorry for the sun glare, I really like the scar, I guess we might say. Of course, it has a dead branch here and there, and then it has one with buds coming out there. It's budding out quite nicely. So hopefully that will turn into a decent little bonsai. That's just a regular old field maple. This here is a Easter bush forsythia. That's from a clipping that I just poked down on the ground, and it's rooted off nicely. This right here is a little boxwood cutting that I got to root, and I've wired it. I'll try to give it the S shape. Here is my eastern red cedar, and it is doing quite well. I am really pleased. It is getting all kind of new growth coming out on it, especially on this back branch. You can see where it got the old growth into all this new growth. Quite amazing. It's done rather well. This is the very first one that I've tried to trim on, and looking at it, it is still quite leggy. I need to trim it back harder, but I'm at least going to let it get good and healthy for a year or so before I trim it back like I think it needs. Now this dude is one I harvested not too long ago. It was about a 5-foot tall pine, and of course I trimmed the top out of it. I ain't real good at the different species. This here's a 2-needle pine, and from the look of it, I'm wanting to think this is potentially a Virginia pine, otherwise known as a scrub pine, because it has dyed back little branches all in it. That was already like that. I mean, I ain't positive, but I'm pretty sure it's the Virginia pine. This branch was dead. All these needles was already brown. These right here was green. So far they're staying green. It's a reasonably old tree because of the bark. Has that nice rough look to it. And of course I have it in this large pot because the root system was kind of rough in a way. There wasn't very much fine roots, so I'm wanting the roots to get good and strengthened, hopefully, before I actually try to get it in something smaller. So this pine is a long-term project, but it's one I'm pretty excited about. Here's that little red oak I showcased in my previous video. It's doing very well. There's my dog. He must be sniffing a little critter underneath there. He loves chasing the squirrels and whatnot. This is my forsythia, the Easter bush, another one. It is doing very well. I've actually trimmed it twice because it was shooting out and getting very leggy. Right there you can see where I trimmed it. It was another foot, so I trimmed it back. But it is coming out very healthily, thankfully, so I'm pleased with that. Now here's another little pine that I've harvested, and it had this curve in it in the wild. It has died back quite a bit, so I'm hoping it will live for me. It still has some green needles on this little branch down here. They've basically all died back, so hopefully that will live for me. Time will tell. Here is a beech tree that this is my most recent one that I've gotten. Of course, it's been a couple weeks back. Little small sapling. Of course, eventually I want to really shorten it down because the trunk isn't that large, but it does have some interest down here at the bottom, and it looks like it might have been broken or something at some point in its younger years. And it's just trying to get out of the brown hard shell around the leaves. This is another one. Time will tell how well it does. I'm hoping it lives for me. It's kind of all I have right now because I'm quite inexperienced. And this right here is one that I harvested this spring as well. It has budded out and came out nicely for me. That's a Rosa Sharon. Of course, obviously I cut it down, be a lot shorter, and whenever it establishes itself, my plan is to shorten it down and create a trunk. It's coming off to the side, so I have hopes of having some nice interest with how that is situated. And here is another Japanese maple of the Bloodgood variety. When I seen that the first one I got was dying down and the likelihood of it coming out was very slim, I went ahead and went back, and quite honestly, all the Bloodgood trees was pretty raggedy, but this one was coming out the best of what was there, and it's actually came out even more since I've got it. I've had it about a week now. I went ahead, this branch going on up was dead. I went ahead and trimmed it. Same with this one. Down, I left it long because there was still color down low with some buds. Just right down here we can see hopefully some nice red looking buds there at the bottom. I might see it there. My apologies for the camera focus. But at this point, this one is looking rather healthy. Even though it was, the top was scraggly looking. So this one has life in it, so I went ahead and got it. The other one, like I mentioned, I'm very well probably will be returning it, but I wanted to make sure to have one that I knew was living. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger once again. Anyhow, no hound dogs taking a break. I just thought I'd do a little tour of what I have at this point. There's some that I haven't showcased yet, so I wanted to go ahead and give y'all a look at those. And hopefully I will end up with some reasonable bonsais over the years. So I do appreciate everyone that stopped by. Take a look at the trees I have. Till y'all come by and visit with me again, y'all take care.